going live, and you are looking live at Sold Out Giants Stadium, where today the 15-0 New York Giants will be taking on the 0-15 Chicago Bears. Why do Chicago Bears 0-15? Because they suck. And welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all going to spend any time with me here this evening? Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. I greatly appreciate it. Or anybody spends any time at all watching this replay or any part of this replay at all, thank you so much once again, guys. You guys absolutely rock. I greatly appreciate it. Going to try to go about 30 minutes as always here. It's hard to believe. I mean, in less than 24 hours, the season is almost a quarter of the way over. I mean, it's absolutely, you wait for it. And I keep saying all the time, it's like once it gets here, one of the reasons why I almost hated getting here, because it's like once it gets here, it's like, I mean, it's almost like the quarter of the way. We got 17 games now, but I mean, four games out of 7, we're almost 25% of the way through the season already. It's like, just before you know it, we can turn around and holy crap, the season's over with already. What happened to the season? Now we got to wait till next September. It's just absolutely amazing how fast the time flies by. Anybody got anything to say? Put it in the chat box at all. I'll check the chat box every now and then. So, you got anything to say? Fire away. I'll be here for about another 30 minutes here. But saw some interesting things. I was kind of a little wondering. I mean, they just got him. All right, I guess the week before, and also I was just I thought maybe they would somehow find a way to elevate Jaylon Smith to play against the Cowboys, his ex-team, right? But that didn't happen. However, they're elevating him, this week, right, to help out and against the Bears. So that's all right. That'll hopefully help out. All right. Their interior, their inside linebacker, hopefully help maybe solve some of their struggles. Okay. And so I got this article here from the New York Post. It says the weeks fly by as the season advances. Absolutely. It's unbelievable. And it's easy to forget for the Giants have an all-new coaching regime, and the players have been tasked with learning all new offensive and defensive schemes. That is especially true when it comes to how the inside linebacker spot is shaping up. Absolutely. Veteran Blake Martinez was a surprise cut late in the summer. Austin Calitro was a surprise roster survivor, and he started the season opener. Since then, Calitro and rookie Micah McFadden have taken turns working alongside every snap linebacker, Tay Crowder. I said, Tay's been in there. I mean, the guy tries his heart out. Mr. Irrelevant. Well, the dude is not Mr. Irrelevant anymore. The guy is very relevant. However, he's always struggled. I mean, I said, I don't go and break down every play and this, that, and the other thing. I just don't have time for that. I'm not that good at that, but he's just struggled. I mean, if you take, like, as I said, PFF, right? He grades out rather poorly most of the time. So he has his struggles. Okay. So he's in there. Okay. But we certainly could use some help there. I mean, that's why it was kind of like a little heartbreaking when Blake Martinez. I mean, I guess, I don't know. They were having a hard time finding a lot of. It didn't seem like he was going to get used a lot. Okay, kind of like the writing was on the wall and all. So they weren't going to use him a lot, but we're going to use these other guys less experienced who maybe don't have as much talent. I don't get him, especially because Blake wasn't making like, $20 million a year. So, I mean, it was just a little surprising. Okay. The linebacker Jaylon Smith, was activated off the practice squad and signed to the active roster on Saturday, today. The former Cowboys tackle machine played for the Giants in the final 4 games last season. He also, I'm going to go over this in a minute, Also had a little cup of coffee with the Green Bay Packers. He's played for 3 teams last year. Okay. And I thought when the Packers got him, I thought he would stick with the Packers. Nope. He stuck with the Giants till the end of the season. Then they let him go. Okay. But Smith is 27, had been on the practice squad since September 20th. Okay. So, all right. That's when they got him. Okay. It's about 11 days ago. He could get a chance to start alongside on Crowder on Sunday. Yeah, because he's got a little more mobility, maybe sideline to sideline than what Calitro and McFadden. McFadden is like downhill. He's kind of like a not quite as good as Blake, but he's kind of in the box, plugging holes, downhill kind of guy, right? Sideline to sideline is not his strength, and obviously maybe dropping back in coverage may not be his strength either. I think Jaylon Smith has a little better advantage at that than some of those other guys, although Jaylon has definitely lost a step since he first came out. I mean, if he was as solid and all of that as he had been when he first came out, he might still be a Cowboy, but it is what it is. Now, the inside linebackers did not play well in the loss to the Cowboys. They, a lot obviously had to do with, the running game. Right. Now we got this from Wink, right? We're still in the process of finding the right fits for who's going to play inside. So, I mean, that's, the problem with that is you're finding guys, you're trying to find the right fit as you're playing games. I mean, maybe not always the best way to find out, you put a couple guys in there and a couple quarters go by, like, yeah, they suck, let's put some guys, so, right. Or you getting gashed up the middle. I mean, one of the bad things is that, especially with the inside linebacker, all right, is that, and then we don't have Leonard Williams there. Okay. So with the inside linebackers, if one of them guys gets outside, well, the inside linebacker, somebody, goes sideline to sideline, plugging holes, as far as in the run game, that's a lot on the linebackers, especially the inside linebackers. And, they struggled last week. Definitely. Without question. All right. I want guys who can run and hit and tackle as a unit, as all 11. We need to tackle better. We had too many missed tackles. First couple of games, the Giants did a very good job of tackling, without question. Last week wasn't quite so good. Like I said, going against this offense is going to be a great test for us to see how much we've improved from Monday to Sunday. The game within the game will feature running back Saquon Barkley, who tries to elude, Roquan Smith, okay, the phenomenal, the linebacker for the Bears, okay, who has topped 100 tackles in his first 4 seasons, okay. He had a high of 161 tackles last season, and that was one of the things that also Saquon remembered last time. Remember when he got injured for the whole season was against the Bears. He remembers playing against Roquan Smith being in there as well. Now, the Giants caught a break. Okay, running back David Montgomery will be out for the Bears with an ankle and knee injury. So that's big for the Giants. That's very, very helpful. You don't want anybody being hurt, period. I don't, for me, you want your best to go up against their best. It ain't very rarely ever going to happen that way, but you don't ever want anybody to be injured or hurt. Okay. But Montgomery, who suffered, apparently had his ankle and knee injury suffered in the first quarter of Chicago's victory last week against the Texans. Montgomery has 159 yards on a team high 35 rushing attempts and a team high 5 receptions for 38 yards. That's right. I said a team high 5 receptions after 3 games. Okay. They have 23 completions in 3 games. I mean, that is just, that's even worse than a Jason Garrett offense. They're averaging like 8 completions a game. Can you imagine that? You got some teams almost complete 8 passes in a drive. I mean, if they're a little short, 6, 7, 8, marching down the field. You got some teams that could probably complete 8. I'll bet you this year there's been a team that's completed 7 or 8 passes in one drive on their way down the field. I mean, and they've completed 23 passes in 3 games. And we're getting Aaron Robinson back, okay, which is going to be huge, all right, which is really going to help because they don't have a phenomenal passing game, okay. So hopefully what we'll be able to do is the stymie their passing game, turn them more into, what they want to be. I guess it's more of a running game. And hopefully we'll try to do our best, especially if Leo on the line. If Leonard Williams was in there, that would have been huge because then we'd really have a good job of a good chance of shutting down the run. And we get Azeez in there and Kayvon in there, hopefully maybe get a little more pressure than they did against the Cowboys. But if we could shut down the run game and force them to beat us with the pass, that would be huge. But, it is what it is. Right, Leonard Williams will come back when he's healthy. Okay, so hopefully maybe they'll be next week against the Packers. Who knows? But we'll just wait and see. But Jaylon Smith. Okay, let's see here. Last year, he didn't grade out too bad with the Giants. This is Pro Football Focus. That's all I'm going by. All right, said last year. Okay, he graded out 69.2. He was in for 154 snaps altogether. Right, so basically. About 2 full games, maybe, give or take, right? Almost maybe around 2 full games, right? Graded out of 69.2 for the Giants. His tackling grade was an 84.6. His pass coverage grade, okay, which is huge for the Giants because the Giants for so long had problems with their linebackers covering people, right? He graded out at 80.1, okay? He didn't play very well for the Packers. All right. He played 2 weeks. He played against week 6 against the Bears and week 7 against at the time, the Washington football team. Okay. For the season, for those 2 games, he graded out at 34.8. I guess maybe learning a new defensive system could have caused him some problems. I'm not exactly sure, but he didn't grade out very well. He played the first 4 weeks with the Cowboys. He graded out pretty well. He graded out 69.2. His run defense wasn't very good, but his tackling was an 84.3. He's a very good tackler. All right. His coverage grade for the Cowboys was an 82.1. I don't know. They just let him go. They just didn't see quite what I don't know. Well, I got Van Der Esch in there, and the all-world Mr. Parsons in there. So I don't know. I guess that might have had something to do. They also signed him to a nice contract. I guess they just want to get out from underneath that. But he did. He had a couple of years. What we got? According to Pro Football Focus, I didn't look at any other website. But in 2018, he had apparently, according to him, he had like 98 tackles. 2019, he had 108 tackles. 2020, he had 112 tackles. Okay, so but apparently he was just seen to be taking maybe a step backward. 2018, he graded out at 84.1. Right, he was in there for 1,100 snaps, 84.1. 2019, he took a little step back. He was in there for almost 1,000 snaps. He graded out at a 70. 2020, he graded out at a 54. So it seemed like he was taking steps backwards, right? Maybe it was, he had suffered that horrific knee injury. I think it was in the bowl game. Notre Dame got their asses handed to him by Ohio State, and he got injured there, and that's why he wound up going in the second round. If he didn't get injured, if he didn't play in the bowl game, he would have been a first rounder. Okay, that's why a lot of guys don't play in the bowl games just for this point, right? And possibly it's hurting his career, his NFL career. But but the Giants got him. He didn't do too bad for the Giants last year. Didn't do too bad, right? And so hopefully he'll be in there. Now what we got. Okay, the inside linebackers, apparently the depth chart, all right, the starters, what they have, it doesn't really mean much, but they got Tay Crowder and Austin Calicho, the middle linebackers and the weak side linebacker. Okay. Then they got we got Carter Coughlin and Micah McFadden, and they got Cam Brown. Okay. So I'm not sure what Jaylon Smith is going to be. I'm sure they'll put Jaylon Smith in there in defense before they would probably Cam Brown. Cam Brown is phenomenal on special teams. Thank goodness we got that guy. But I'm not exactly sure. But it'd be interesting to see. That's one of the things to be interesting to see how many snaps does Jaylon Smith get in there. Because, we can use him for his coverage ability, okay, which would be huge. But I said the Bears like to run the ball, okay. And hopefully he can go sideline to sideline and help, stop some of the run game. It's going to be huge for the Giants. You don't usually have this, but the Giants almost want to make the Bears beat them with the pass game. Guy Justin Fields, here you go. Here's the ball. You drop back and you want to win the game, beat us with the pass. The Giants, if the Giants could shut the run down, that would be huge. That would really, really be huge. I'm not saying if Giants shut the run down that they're going to win, but that would be huge. All right. Then we got, all right, I love the guy. Nick Gates. I can't wait for him to, might return to practice next week per report. Okay. Big Blue View. All right. The door could be opening for Nick Gates, who suffered obviously that horrific injury against at the time, the Washington football team, his left leg in week 2 of the 2021 season. It was like, what the hell we do? Week 1, we lost Shane Lemieux. He played 19 snaps, I believe it was, played the first quarter pretty much, couldn't go on anymore. We lost him. Boom, gone for the season. I don't know if it was the first quarter or it was the second quarter. We lost Nick Gates against the Washington. So basically, within the first 5 quarters of the season, we lost 2 offensive linemen. Boom, for the whole season. Absolutely unbelievable. That was horrible. But I'll tell you what, man. I'm so happy he's on our team. I'm not saying he's going to be, an unbelievable, fantastic starter for us or anything. I'm so happy he's on our team. Somebody who tries, who puts it all out, comes back a year later from that injury. Wow. Fantastic. All right, let's see here. Dan Dugan of The Athletic reported on Friday that the Giants plan to activate Gates from the physically unable to perform list, the PUP list, next week. All right. If that happens, okay, now this is what the Giants have, okay. Gates would not automatically be on the 53-man roster and eligible to play. The Giants would have a 21-day window, basically 3 weeks, okay, from whenever Gates is removed from the PUP list to decide whether to either add him to the roster or keep him sidelined for the rest of the season. Apparently, I guess there's no in between. There's no there's no IR or this or that or whatever. Okay, so it's basically he's either on the roster or he's out for the rest of the season. So now Gates suffered his injury, as I just said, against the Washington football team last year, barely more than 1 year ago. Okay. And they also wrote here too. It's simply amazing, right? After he suffered his injury, Gates' journey back from thinking at one time that he might actually lose his leg, okay, went from that. Here it is about a year later, and he had 7 surgeries, and now here's about a year later, and he's almost ready to start practicing again with the Giants. Now, let's not forget, Gates was a team captain, right, last season after starting all the 16 games at center in 2020, all right? And it was a shame because he did such a decent job at center. When Lemieux got injured last year, we took Gates, slid him over to Lemieux's spot, and we have Billy Price in there. All right, Billy Price did a decent job, but that was where Gates just kind of got overmatched. The one play where he wound up breaking his leg, I believe he was getting bull rushed. He was kind of looked like he was kind of on skates going backwards, and I guess he tripped over somebody, whoever it was, and got injured. But if Lemieux wasn't injured, Lemieux still would have been a guard. Gates still would have been at center. Maybe Gates may not have get injured. It is what it is. But that was a horrible, horrible injury. Now, Now, Nick Gates here, all right, he did decently. Now you got, he was at center, okay? We had him at tackle. We had him at center. Let's see let's see here. Okay. Week 1, he was the center. Then Lemieux got injured and we put him over in left guard. Okay. But we've also had him. Let's see here. Get him here. 20. Okay. So 2020. All right. He was our center. But then in 2019, he didn't have a whole lot. He only had 291 snaps. But in 2019, okay, so remember 2020, he was a center. And then he played left guard last year too. So he played center, he played left guard. In 2019, he played left tackle, he played right tackle, and he played right guard. So he's played every position on the offensive front for the Giants in 3 years. From 2019 to 2021, he played every position on the offensive line. He only played the one game. Actually, he only played, I guess, maybe a couple quarters. I guess it was, a quarter or two in the left guard in the Washington football game. But in 2019, he played 3 different positions: right tackle, left tackle, and right guard. Then he started center. So he he didn't grade out like phenomenally at center or anything. But the guy, just versatility. He can play anywhere. Okay, as I said, obviously, I'm sure some positions he plays better than others, but it's going to be a long road back for him. Who knows if he'll be able to make the squad? Hopefully, who knows if he can even play football, period. He can play football, but can he play at an NFL level? Who knows? Okay. But they got him here at 6'6", about 318 pounds, big guy, right? Undrafted free agent from Nebraska, right? You got to be pulling for somebody like that. So if he doesn't make the roster this year, hopefully he'll be good to go next year. It would be nice. If we got Gates, right? Somehow, by some miracle of God, if Shane Lemieux actually stays healthy, maybe he can come off the IR after, because he has to miss at least 4 games. So tomorrow would be 4. Okay. Maybe if we're lucky, maybe his toe will be healed up. Maybe he can come off the IR, maybe play a little bit of football for us. Wouldn't that be fantastic? It would be such a nice, it'd be so nice. It's just some of these guys, it's just like, I don't know. They get to the Giants and it's like, I don't know. All they do is get injured. And I just like scratch my head. How do these guys make it through college? It is what it is. But it's just very frustrating because you've seen possibly Shane Lemieux maybe getting a little bit better. He had his struggles his first year without question. He graded out very low. Okay. But you were kind of hoping that maybe he'd get a little bit better. All right. We had Nick Gates, Lemieux. So we had some hometown, guys, and they just have a hard time just staying healthy. So, we'll pull him for Nick Gates, but next week he'll be practicing. So hopefully we'll have 3 weeks to see if the Giants are going to actually keep him on the roster or not. And if worse comes to worse, if he can't make it this year, they'll give him another year to recover. Maybe get back into football shape and all that and everything. And hopefully maybe next year he'll be ready to go for the New York Football Giants. Then we got the injury report. Okay. So we got, let's see here. Cordell Flott, he's out with a calf. Nick McLeod, he's out with a hamstring. Okay. Wan'Dale Robinson, he's out with a knee. Kadarius Toney, hard to believe. He's out again. Yeah, it's hard to, I know, I'm shocked too. He's got a hamstring, tight hamstring. After his hamstring's untight, something else will pop up on him. Guaranteed. Absolutely guaranteed. Obviously, Sterling Shepard, yeah. I don't even know why he's on this the injury report. They got him, yeah. He's on the injury reserve. Yeah, no kidding. Jihad Ward, a knee, but he'll be playing. Leonard Williams is out with his knee. Justin Lane with concussion. He'll be back. Okay. Aaron Robinson, he'll be back. So we're getting back Justin Lane and Aaron Robinson into the secondary. So that's good. So that's going to help. I'm very, very excited to get Justin Lane, but I'm very excited to get Aaron Robinson back there again. Hopefully, because he needs some practice. I mean, he needs game reps and all. I'm not saying he's going to ever turn into a phenomenal cornerback, but he needs as much reps as he can get. Okay, and he played one game and he's missed two, so he needs to get some reps. And if he's going to come back, okay, against the Bears, that's a good team to come back against, because Justin Fields throwing the ball is one thing. The following week, when they're across the pond having tea in England, playing against Aaron Rodgers, he's another type of beast, okay? He can throw the ball, all right? Justin Fields can throw the ball too, but Aaron Rodgers is a little bit better at throwing the ball than Justin Fields is, okay? So for Aaron Robinson to come back and play in this game is going to be huge. Hopefully he can stay healthy, right? That's going to, because we need all hands on deck when we're going against the Packers next week, okay? We're going to try to make that a tough game for him. If we can get Leonard Williams back to help in the middle, to help against the run, maybe a little pass, get some help with a little bit of a pass rush going on there, but to help against the run, and we get our full complements of cornerbacks in there, that would be huge, especially if we can get Cordell Flott maybe back next week too. That would be fantastic. But the Bears, they got some injuries here. I got Matthew Adams. He's doubtful. Okay, he's got a hamstring. All right. Then we got Dane Cruikshank, defensive back. He's out with a hamstring. Ryan Griffin with Achilles. He's doubtful. He's a tight end. Okay, Jaylon Johnson, he's out. He's a cornerback, all right? Velus Jones Jr., he's questionable with a hamstring. David Montgomery, he's got his ankle and knee. Okay, he's out. Okay. Roquan Smith, he's got a quad injury. He's playing. Maybe their best player. Robert Quinn, he's questionable, defensive end. He with an illness. I kind of doubt that he'll be. But Cara Santos, okay, personal, he's questionable, right? And Sterling Weatherford, he's a linebacker. He's questionable with an ankle. So I'll tell you what, the Bears got, what do we got? 1, 2, 3 guys who are out and 2 guys who are doubtful. Okay, so they got their own injuries themselves, all right? So it's not all the Giants this week, all right? So we'll have to, Giants got a shot. I'm not going to say they're going to win, but they got a shot. I'm going to predict them to win in a minute, but they certainly got a shot at it. Okay. Then we got here. This is from what we got, Giants Wire. 5 biggest storylines for week 4. All right. Now, well, one of them is remnants of Ian. All right. Hurricane Ian, which belted Florida and several other southern states this week, is still making its way north and could have an effect on playing conditions this weekend. The forecast is calling for 65% chance of rain with 15 to 20 mile per hour winds. With 2 teams struggling to throw the football, these are less than ideal conditions. Yeah. And it's Legacy Week, right? Sunday will be the first of 2 legacy games where the Giants will wear their classic blue uniforms from the 80s and 90s. The theme also includes throwback MetLife Stadium branding and activations, a game day collector's series pennant giveaway, a retail collaboration with Starter, and much more. The classic uniforms which the team wore from 1980 to 99 starts at the top with the return of the Navy helmet, providing a base for the white face mask, solid scarlet red stripe, classic numbers, side decals, and raised wood mark, all reminiscent of the 80s and 90s style. Meanwhile, the red and blue trim on the jerseys and pants are all done in color palette from that era. The Giants also accented the inside of the collar with the timeless words of late owner Wellington Mara, once a Giant, always a Giant. And they got the end zone. Looks cool too. It's a red end zone, right? It has the word Giants in it. Shocking, I know. But it's in blue, but the end zone is in red. So that looks really special. Really, really looks special. And then, of course, one of the things that they have here is Giants are down some key players again. Giants can never field an entirely healthy roster, and this season is no different. They have 5 players listed as out for the week. Obviously, as I just went over, Leonard Williams, Cordell Flott, Nick McLeod. So they got basically two cornerbacks, 2 wide receivers, and Leonard Williams. All right, linebacker Jihad Ward and cornerbacks Aaron Robinson and Justin Lane participated fully in practice and should all be cleared for Sunday. Thank goodness. Because having Aaron Robinson is huge, without question. Okay. Again, Jihad Ward. Having an extra, outside linebacker, edge rusher, that's big. But also with Justin Lane too. Just some depth for the cornerback position, or the secondaries, position. Now we got the other things. Who will step up in the passing game for both teams? Seriously. The already thin wide receiver ranks got even thinner when Sterling Shepard blew out his knee last Monday night and will miss the remainder of the season. He was the Giants' leader in targets the first 3 weeks. Head coach Brian Dable said the solutions will likely have to come from within. That means that the group of Richie James, David Sills, Kenny Golladay, and Darius Slayton are going to have to step up their game this weekend and beyond. Yeah. Well, we'll see. I'd love to see him get Darius Slayton on the field. And this is a huge one here. Run and stop the run, which would be huge. I think that could be the key to the game, really. Whoever can run the ball and stop the run, either team, I think that would be huge. If the Bears can shut down Saquon and shut down the running game and they could run the ball, I think the Bears got to have a very good shot at winning this football game. The Giants have been running the football with success behind Saquon Barkley this season. They are fourth in the NFL in rushing with 169 yards per average. They faced the Bears' 30th ranked run defense this week. The Bears are actually running the ball better this year than the Giants are, though. They're second in the league with 187 yards per game average. They faced the Giants' 25th ranked run defense in this game. Well, a lot of that will also, the reason why they went down to number 25 was because they gave up so many yards to the Cowboys in the running game. Two key elements to keep in mind is the Giants will be playing without Leonard Williams again, while the Bears will be relying solely on Khalil Herbert this week as David Montgomery is out with knee and ankle issues. All right. So I'm gonna, once again, I think it'll be a close game unless, shall we say, one team turns the ball over. But I just say, if the Giants wind up turning the ball over like 4 times and the Bears do not, okay, I definitely think, if whoever's able to run the ball effectively, right, and if they can also shut down the run, and turnovers, I think, are going to be huge in this game, especially if it's going to be less than perfect weather out there, weather conditions, because neither team's going to have I don't know if either team's going to have a very productive day throwing the football. If there's a team, one of the teams can take off throwing the ball, okay. But both teams have been kind of struggling throwing the ball. The Giants got injured wide receivers, right? We got some guys, but we don't, Richie James has done a decent job. Love to see Darius Slayton on the field, see what he can do. But I think it's going to go through Saquon, right? Daniel Jones got to protect the ball. If he has to pull it down and take off, get a first down if he can, that would be fantastic. But I think a lot of it's going to depend upon Saquon. Then a lot of it's going to also depend upon the Bears defense stopping Saquon. All right. Then it's up to the Giants to stop the Bears running game, which is their bread and butter. If the Giants can stop the running game, that would be huge. But I also do think too, a lot of it's going to have to come down to turnovers. If one team has 3 or 4 turnovers compared to like 1 or so for the other team, I think that might do it for cause them to lose. So I think the Giants will win. I think it'll be a close game. I don't think it's going to be real high scoring. I said, unless there's like a lot of turnovers, a pick 6 or something like that, or the Bears return a punt for a touchdown against the Giants. But I think it'll be close. I think, it'll be somewhat, not overly high scoring. I think maybe like 24-17 Giants, something like that. But I think the Giants, I think being home, I think they got something to prove, and I think that they'll outlast the Bears. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be a score one way or the other. If the Bears beat the Giants, it won't be much more than 7 to 10 points. Same thing with the Giants. If the Giants win, it might be 23-13, 24-13. But I'm saying 24-17. Right? Because neither team is a offensive juggernaut. Neither team. So I think the Giants at home. Take the Giants 24-17, and the Giants will be 3-1 after tomorrow. We'll be a quarter of the way through the season. Hard to believe. Well, guys, it's been 35 minutes. Shoot my mouth off here. Anybody at all, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Anybody's watched this this video, this live video, or anybody watches the replay of this, thank you from the bottom of my heart, as always. And as always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.